Yeah, so I do this presentation on behalf of Abdelak Ben Taleb, who could not join for visa reasons. Um, it's a bit annoying because it's a position paper. So it's maybe not my position, it's his position with his friends. But I kind of share most of what he says, so it's good. Oh my God, the presentation is turning automatically. Okay, so this presentation is very close to the first talk we had in this session. It's about steering, multi-CDN, and all this kind of stuff. And it's also very close to what Yuri will explain later in this session. So it's another view of it, right? So it will say a bit of what they said before, Will and Daniel, that CDNs are not 100% reliable. So we have many examples. Every CDN has bad days and good days, some of them more often than others. So they did, the co-authors of this paper, they did a test which they presented in a paper 2 years ago with 3 CDN, and they measured the rebuffering ratio, and they measure the startup delay. And what they observe is that not only each CDN has its own behavior, but the performance of the CDN themselves can vary a lot in the time. So when you rely on a single CDN solution, you kind of face this kind of problem that your delivery platform is not completely stable and it's not completely safe and reliable. So we need to change that. So we are technical guys, so we understand this problem. One of the good points about multi-CDN is that the business guys have also checked this. So it's there is a reference, but marketing people did some experiment in what is the impact of bad CDN performance on the overall quality of experience of the users, and they managed to translate that into money. So when they said like a single instance of rebuffering has a cost in dollars, so trust it or not, but it means that technical guys and managers and everybody agrees that a single CDN delivery is not the best solution, and so we need to have a multi-CDN solution. So the benefits of the multi-CDN solution is that with multiple CDN, you have a much more presence, much more footprint, actually. So because some CDN have some servers in some POPs and some other CDN have some servers in other POPs. So this can be beneficial. You will have some improved performance, but it depends on your ability to implement traffic routing and steering solutions. So this is what we are discussing. Another aspect is that you will have better cost effectiveness. So because sometimes you have small CDN which have very good price, but they cannot cover your whole delivery needs. And so because you cannot cover your whole delivery needs, you need to go for a bigger CDN which can have much bigger price. So with multi-CDN, you can find the best stack of money expenses for your deliveries. You avoid overpaying for a single solution. And you are supposed to have an increased scalability because you are not limited by the performance of one single CDN. So how can we do this? So this is a topic of today's first talk, and this is a topic in the industry at large. It's not the first time we're talking about multi-CDN, because there was a Netflix paper in 2010 talking about multi-CDN solution even. So it's something which is not new. So what they did in this paper, and so I would recommend you to read the paper. It's very well written and very good. Is that they did a kind of survey of the different solutions for the multi-CDN dynamic switching CDN. So the first one, what they call DNS-based, it can be implemented with HTTP redirection as well. It's the basic one where every new session, you connect to the CDN balancer, the CDN selector, and you decide, and you say, hey, this is for CDNA, so you cannot, this session now is attached for the good and for the bad to this CDNA, and if the CDNA is falling, this is something where we will need to eventually modify this, but we cannot. So we have to wait these end users to reload the URL and so that we can rebalance these users to the CDNB. So there is no switching delays can be very long. So the second solution, which is a kind of a hack, is to modify the manifest. So in the pipeline from the servers, the video encoders and packagers to the edge, you integrate one manifest rewrite process where from time to time you say this is for CDNA or this is for CDNB. And so you have the same kind of issue that if there is a problem for one of the CDN, you cannot do a switch midstream. You have to wait this end users to recom to the manifest CDN to modify the CDN. I mean, it's kind of possible to do some tricks here, but this is not as efficient as the steering systems that we discussed before. So the two solutions which has been discussed recently, and so there is typically a working group at SVTA, which is on players and playability, which talks about this, and there are multiple actors who have become productive, especially in open source for this. So this is the client-side system. So main advantage of the client-side system is that you offer to this client the multiple CDN options, and you let this client do whatever he wants. So in the first example that Lumen released, when they released their open source system for this, they were doing, they were changing constantly the segments. One segments to CDNA, one segments to CDNB, and let's continue like this. So it is something which is kind of the adaptive bitrate solution for it, meaning that here we said, well, the client knows what is good for him or not. It does not depend on logs coming from CDN, which can be wrong. It's immediate. If it sees that one of the CDN is very bad, it immediately stops doing for this, and the client is usually right in its way of detect cheating CDN typically. The problem that we have, multiple problems actually. One of them is that you need to have a client-side integration, okay? Second one is you need increased resources at the video player side, okay? But the third one is that the content providers lose control, and so this morning, I mean, in the talk before, they explained that we have multiple business logics behind, and so it can be a bit annoying to let the client decide completely blind about something which is probably out of his knowledge. So typically, if you have a CDN, you have a commitment to have 1 terabits per second coming from this CDN, and if the clients all go to the CDN, you will increase your commitment. That can be bad. This second problem for the content providers is that you will have a hard time troubleshooting because it's going into every direction. So the concept of video session, which you try to extract from the different logs that you have in one CDN, becomes very hard to get when you have multiple CDN and when you have just a fraction of the traffic coming from one of the CDN. So it's not completely good. So the server-side systems and typically the content steering system that has been defined earlier is maybe a good trade-off between this, while the server offers what is the preferred priority for the CDN so that it can follow the business logics, and the clients can decide in between. So this is what they put into their papers, that the alternative idea, which is kind of what is discussed at the SVTA at the moment, is a context-aware hybrid solution where we have we need to have steering servers which are capable of identifying what is the best CDN at the moment. So it means that this steering server should ingest log statistics from the origin, from the CDN, and from the players. So from the players, we can use CMCD to get some information, quality of experience information from the end users. From the server side, you need to somehow reconcile the data from the CDN with the data that the clients express about the performance of the different CDN. So you need to have a centralized system which is not only a list of priority for the CDN. You need to have a full data processing systems to understand what is the best choice in terms of quality of experience and in terms of business logics. So this is the beautiful figures that they drew for this. It's almost as digest as the one from Yuri for the content steering in SVTA. So it means that you have a lot of data coming in every direction. So it's you have orange data, which is the switching decisions. The CDN statistics go to the aggregated analytics. The blue one is the CMCD, which goes to the CDN server, but it can be used as well if you use the JSON system of CMCD to inform the aggregated analytics about the actual performance in terms of quality of experience. But if you aggregate all this data into the aggregated analytics, then you will be able to perform good content steering solutions. So the main position of Abdelak and his co-authors is to suggest to have a unified framework and metrics to compare and evaluate existing CDN switching strategies. So he suggested that we can all go to his lab where he has some solution for testing all of this and to integrating all of this, and he calls for common effort into this direction. So you can reach out to Abdelak anytime for collaboration or questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for covering this talk since Abdelak could make it. We're going to skip questions.